Hello and welcome everybody, I'm Barbarian and this is Crusader Kings III Dev Diary number 39. I'm your king, as you can see, and I will tell you a number of things before we actually dive into the achievements here. The first thing is that today at 6 PM CEST there will be an actual Crusader Kings III gameplay video on my channel. I hope that you will enjoy it. You know, it was a lot of fun doing. I hope that you enjoyed as well. There's a number of other creators that also have CK3 today, meaning that, well, you're looking at a situation where essentially you are no longer entirely starved for content. With that being said, I also want to tell you of the Crusader Creator Colosseum that will happen on the 1st of September. You can see right here, this is the map of the content creators that are participating. You can see me right here, and I can say that because I have already been announced as Otto II. I'm very excited, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You should tune in on the 1st of September. I will be streaming it on YouTube. I know a bunch of other people will be streaming it on Twitch and YouTube respectively. I hope that it will be a great experience, of course, as always. Now, that being said, starting, and this is public knowledge, meaning I can bring this up, starting on the 31st of August, don't remember the time, but there is essentially the end of the embargo for Crusader Kings III in terms of streams, meaning that I will be streaming the game on YouTube on the 31st for a long time, and maybe on the 1st of September as well. I mean, no, actually, I'm in the Colosseum there, I already forgot about that. And then on the 1st of September, that is when videos are allowed to go live, and I have a bunch of videos planned for you. I mean, a multitude of videos. I hope that you are all excited for that. Now, that all that being said, let's actually take a look at the achievements. You may know this, you may not know this. I have every single achievement in Crusader Kings II. I did it on the channel. It was a lot of fun with all of you doing that. And I would separate achievements into 3 categories. The first category is the type of achievement that you get just by playing. For example, get married. It's a Crusader Kings 2, you just do it, you just play the game, and you know, very quickly you will definitely pick it up if you play an Iron Man. Then the second form of achievement is essentially the one that you have to go after, meaning it doesn't happen naturally. You have to go after it, but they are fun. What comes to mind here for me personally is 10 thrones, where you have to have 10 dynasty members on 10 kingdom tier thrones. I did that on the channel as well with an additional restriction where I was myself restricted to just 1 kingdom. Was a lot of fun, very, very cool achievement, but you have to go after them. Obviously, it is a bit of a thing, you know, where you have to commit to it. And then you have the very tedious, usually called hard achievements. You have the very tedious achievements that essentially go, okay, why don't you start as the Mongols and conquer all of Europe? Is it hard? No, not really. Is it hard in the sense that it's tedious and most people will quit before they achieve it? Yeah, definitely. I hope to see more of the first and the second variant. That's my personal hope here. And the third one, I could do without. I'll be honest with you, I do not believe that grand strategy games have such a thing as difficult achievements. Doing things can be difficult, but doing an actual achievement that you have to try hard for is essentially just you having patience. That's all it is. And I would just like something that is a bit more fluid, that is a bit more engaging, and that keeps you going regardless of whether you have played the achievement for 6 hours or just for 1 minute. Now let's jump in. House of my own, create a cadet branch of a dynasty, very easy, very simple of course. A legacy of the to last the ages, complete an entire dynasty legacy path, also something that just happens when you play the game. A name known throughout the world, have your dynasty reached the highest possible level of renown, that goes hand in hand of course with number 2. A perfect circle, having only 2 distinct parents, grandparents and great-grandparents, counting absent ancestors as individual characters. Now this one is tough. I can see that right here, only 2 distinct parents, grandparents and great-grandparents. That is a lot of inbreeding, and I think this one is quite tough because it requires you to have children and whatnot, you know, like to do it in a way where everybody stays alive for the longest time. But it's not one I think that will become tedious anytime soon, so I think this one is actually quite nice. A perfect circle, as difficult as it sounds, I think is totally viable. I think quite a bit of fun right there if you actually get that going, although again, like, it's definitely not one of the easier ones. Above guard, have a strong hook on your head of faith, that's quite cool. Al-Andalus, starting as an Iberian Muslim, control all of Iberia and take the avenge the Battle of Tours decision. Right, there's a decision. So this one is cool. I like 6 and I like 4 in particular here out of this bunch, primarily because these are the ones that you have to go after, but they appear to be fun actually going after, whereas 1, 2, 3 and 5 are some, you know, some achievements here that come more naturally to you. Now, let's move on. Almost there is Almos Arpad, form Hungary and convert to Christianity. Quite easy, but I think quite nice for newcomers to kind of play that playstyle. An unfortunate accident, inherit a title from someone via a murder. Also comes naturally to you for sure. Bad blood, go to war with one of your siblings over claim. Again, very natural. Beacon of progress, have your culture unlock all innovations, excluding regional and culture-specific innovations. That is a lot. I mean, that really, I guess it sort of also runs with you just having a good time, because essentially if you play, and I assume there is an achievement, if you play until the end of the game, then you will most likely get the Beacon of Progress if you just focus a bit on getting the values up that are important for innovation. So I think this one is also fine. Blood Eagle, starting as any child of Ragnar Lothbrok, conquer all of the British Isles. Very cool, very thematic achievement. Again, not one of the harder ones, but I do want to stress I personally do not believe that there are hard achievements, because a hard achievement, you know, like I can't be better at like aiming my mouse, for example. It's just me having the patience to pause the game and look at things to do it better. Carolingian Consolidation, starting as a Carling, be the only independent Carling to hold a landed title. Very nice. I mean, it's a good 867 start. I think all of these here in this particular category are more focused on the idea, hey, we want to give you ideas on where to play, on what to do, and on how you handle the game. And I think that's pretty neat. I actually am a huge fan of this as well, because this makes it so that they come naturally to you, but they, similar to the Monarch's Journey, suggest interesting characters that you could play. Next up, Celebrity. Reach the highest possible level of fame. Okay. Death, so fame, just for the record here, is the personal measure. It's not the dynasty measure. That would be Splendor. Fame is the personal measure of a character, meaning that you need an outstanding character. Death did us apart, murder your spouse, well, there you go. Dreadful Ruler, have the maximum amount of dread, that's fair. End of an era, play until 1453, there you are, it's the 1453 achievement, but this time around it only comes alone. In CK2, you had to finish the game 3 times. One starting in 769, one starting in 867, and one starting in 1066. Now in this one, all that matters is that you actually finish it in 1453. I think that's nice. That is the better version. The triple threat there was really annoying, really boring in Crusader Kings II. I think I made it interesting with the Goths, the Grand Journey, and I can't even remember. Oh, the last one was Tibet, right. I did it with the Tibetans there, but not the most exciting, without a doubt, not the most exciting goal. So only having it once, I think, is perfectly fine. Fine Print, use a hook to modify a feudal contract. Fair enough. Followed by Shadows, no 10 secrets simultaneously. That is very cool, but also comes naturally when you play a character. I like these so far as well. None of them are tryhardy. I do see the argument where you could go, okay, aren't many of these just a bit too easy? Aren't many of these just you sitting down and doing practically and effectively very little for, you know, an achievement? Yeah, that's true, but I don't think achievements are there to really have bragging rights. I think they're there just to see, okay, what did I do? Can I explore more in this game? And that I do feel is sort of done by these. For the Faith, take part in a successful Great Holy War on either side. Very cool. Francocratia, as a French Catholic, hold and completely control the Kingdom of Thessalonica without holding or being vassalized to the Byzantine Empire. If I'm not mistaken, then this is a historical result from the Fourth Crusade. I do want to say that the ruler of Thessalonica afterwards was indeed a Frankish Catholic. I think that is actually true. From rags to riches, starting as a count, lead your line to rule an empire. That's a very classic one, just a generic, hey, why don't you become very powerful? I like it. Give a dog a bone, starting as Matilda of Tuscany, lead your dynasty to rule the Kingdom of Italy, have at least 50 living dynasty members, and found a holy order. I think that is pretty neat. That's a pretty cute one. I think Matilda of Tuscany, you will know it, it is an absolute favorite of the developers. Very interesting character as well, because she's quite unique in how much power she holds, and being a woman at the time. Very cool. I think that is a very nice thing. Honestly, that might be one of the first runs that I do, although I might extend it a bit towards Rome, but you know, we'll get to that. We'll talk about the bridge when we have to cross it. Going places, as Hastings of Montaigu of 867 hold any kingdom tier title. I mean, that of course, Hastings is an outstanding character. Hastings in CK2 is of course the legendary character that everybody plays when they just want to go out and conquer. And I'm glad to see that he is back with his very own achievement. It's not a cult, create a faith. That one also happens naturally. Honestly, I am a big fan of all of these naturally happening achievements. I want to stress that primarily because, well, you know, looking at it, the way I see it, in CK2, most of the very hard achievements really are try-hard. Nobody plays that way, and that's why nobody has them. It's not that nobody has them because, you know, oh, it's not, I don't know, not interesting, or they're too bad to actually do it. No, it's just try-harding. So I'm definitely like on board with this stuff. Keep it in the family. Have a child with the inbred trait. That is a must-have for every Crusader king. Kings to the 7th generation. Starting as Count Aude of Anjou in 867, lead your dynasty to rule the Kingdom of France. He is, of course, the historical ancestor of House Capet, so that is really interesting one. Again, a very thematic one. Know your place, defeat a faction in war. This is such a cool... Can I just say, I haven't looked at this, or rather I haven't talked about it before, but the icons are so good. I love this one. I really like this one as well. Just the iconography right here. Then the tree, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunate accident with the air quotes. That is a lovely one. Yeah, all of these look so damn good. This is, of course, a reference to the guns that are developed in, you know, the time period after 1453 and going forward, being employed in the army. Then, of course, yeah, no, seriously, these are all so damn beautiful. But I don't have to tell you that. I think most of you will probably be able to see, and if not, then I just described it to you. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Land of the Rus, starting as Rurik the Troublemaker in 867, lead your dynasty to rule the Empire of Russia. Also a very cool one. Mostly because it's not that extensive for them, and the Empire of Russia, I think, is doable without having to try hard. I remember there were other ones where you had to unify much more in CK2. This one seems perfectly fine. Last Count, first King, starting as Duke Nuno of Portugal in 1066, form Portugal. Yeah, fair enough. Monumental, fully upgraded duchy building anywhere in your personal domain. Very cool. Okay, that's just essentially you building up, building tall. Very interesting prospect in particular because I never do it. I think this one is a good one to test building tall out. Mother of us all, starting as Magajiva Daura, reform an African pagan faith and convert all counties in Africa to it. So, Magajiva Daura is in the bookmark screen in, I want to say, 867? Yeah, it's 867. And she hangs around there, and she is quite unique because she is an adventurer. I read her Wikipedia page, but I don't know more about that. She essentially created the future of Hausaland and of the Hausa people. So this is pretty cool, although I will say, convert all counties in Africa to it. That is a tall task. That is a very tall task, but with this being the first achievement that I have seen so far on this entire list, that makes me wonder, you know, how much time you will be spending in it and how much time you will be spending in it with a lot of tedious things. I think this is perfectly fine. If this were to get a bit tedious, I mean, it's one achievement so far, I think that is perfectly fine. Moving up in the world, increase your rank, of course, that's a no-brainer. Non Nobis Domine, found a holy order, goes hand in hand with Matilda as well if you want to do it like that. Norman yoke, starting as William the Bastard in 1066, win the Norman invasion, become English, and have only English vassals below you in the Kingdom of England. Damn, yeah, that is a very strong Norman yoke, would be this one right here. Very interesting one, of course, puts you in the historical shoes of William the Bastard. Not so feudal system, use the claim throne scheme successfully. Yeah, you can claim the throne of your liege at times, as you can see right here. Very interesting one. I think that also might go hand in hand with people just rising up. In general, Paragon of Virtue, have 3 or more virtuous traits. Paragon of Virtue right here. Yeah, this one is pretty nice. Have 3 or more virtuous traits. If I think about it, it's also pretty hard. I mean, you gotta consider that, you know, of course, you are in a situation where you only have 3 to 4 character traits on average. That is something that has been known for quite some time. And the problem about that is, if one of those were to not be virtuous, you have a problem. You would have an issue. You could alternatively, oh, this is actually so cool. This is actually really cool. What you could try to do is you could try to reform a religion to a way where they value traits that you coincidentally have. So you could make it so that, I don't know, for example, being wrathful all of a sudden is, you know, indeed a virtue. I think that is actually pretty cool. I did not consider how you can think outside of the box with this one, making it easier for yourself. That sounds very interesting. Let's move on. Prolific, have 100 living dynasty members. Fair enough. Reconquista, starting as an Iberian Christian, convert all of Iberia to Christianity. That is the counter-example, of course, to Al-Andalus. Although, honestly, now that I look at it, Al-Andalus is harder. Because Al-Andalus requires you to revenge of Agincourt, right? No, not Agincourt. Tours, there you go. The Battle of Tours, right. Yeah, this one seems harder. Al-Andalus actually quite a bit harder than this one, but same icon right here, you know, except it's the opposite religion, so to speak. Rise from the ashes, restore the Roman Empire. Again, that is one thing that I definitely want to knock out fairly quickly, just because I think once you've done it, nobody can ask you for it anymore. But, you know, this one definitely one of the more tedious ones. I don't know whether you knew this, but in Crusader Kings II, the SPQR achievement, I had defensive packs on and everything, almost made me quit the channel and Crusader Kings II forever. Very tedious. I was losing my mind. Let's hope it's not like that in CK3. Royal Dignity, starting as Vratislav Bremeslit in 1066, lead your dynasty to rule the Kingdom of Bohemia and the Holy Roman Empire simultaneously. I like those. I mean, although now that I look at it, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard, right? At most, when you become the emperor, you could just hand out the kingdom to somebody else. It would be nicer if they said, you can't be the emperor. Another relative of yours has to be the empire. But, you know, it makes sense. It's fair enough. Saint, reach the highest possible level of devotion. Seductive, as any one character, successfully seduced 10 people. Fair enough. Many of those, as you can see, they've clearly gone into the direction of getting rid of try-hardy achievements and entering them more into fluid play where you don't have to try hard for it, but you just have to enjoy the game, which I think ultimately is, of course, the name of the game here in general. 7 holy sites. As a Hindu ruler, hold all 7 Hindu holy sites at the same time. They have 7 holy sites. Very interesting one, actually. It's difficult in Crusader Kings II to make the Indian subcontinent interesting when it comes to achievements, primarily because the achievements in CK2 India are either Norse related, so you have to get there as a Norseman and get an Indian Norse province, or they are related to literally unify all of India, please. Thank you very much. And those are, of course, not exactly very fun. But this one is a nice start because it is very religiously motivated and you can do it with a variety of different characters. On top of that, you could, of course, I think, also do this with your own Hindu faith, I want to say. I'm not entirely certain. Sibling Rivalry, starting as any of the Yemena siblings in 1066, become Emperor of Spain. Classic. Stressful situation, suffer a mental break. Classic. The Emerald Isle, starting as an Irish ruler, hold the Kingdom of Ireland. Do this, of course, when you are starting out. The Emperor's New Clothes, while holding any empire title, be naked. I mean, listen, if you feel like it, then you might as well be naked. I like that achievement a lot. The succession is save. Have 10 living children. There you go. Yeah, that's fair. Again, beyond the Hindu one, I think, a bunch of achievements where essentially if you play in a region, if you just play the game, you're going to get those achievements. Further making it so that playing Iron Man just in general becomes a bit more attractive, honestly. The thing is, love does for us. Have a lover save you from a murder attempt. Ooh. The things we do for love. Murder your lover's spouse. Oh, okay. I like both of these. They go, of course, hand in hand with the you know, seduction stuff that we've seen up here. Where the hell was it? Seductive, there it is. Goes hand in hand with that. I think that is a very fun character playthrough right there. The thing we do for love, or the things we do for love. Murder your lover's spouse. I already read that. Don't know why I just did that again. Trapped in the web. Have strong hooks on 3 direct vessels. Okay, fair enough. Turning to diamonds, reach the highest possible stress level. Until death do us part. Marry another character. And way of life. Obtain every perk in a lifestyle. This entire thing here actually is literally just, hey, play the game, have a good time. Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. Honestly, I really do enjoy those primarily because I think it gives you as a player a good entry point. The CK2 harder achievements, yet again, were not meant for you to do that casually, just playing the game, having a good time. They were meant for you sitting down literally for 8 hours, not at once, but for 8 hours total, and just hammer that out. Was it fun? Absolutely not. I don't miss it. I think this is the better option. I know that there's probably going to be a different opinion. Fair enough, if you enjoyed the very try-hard ones, then that, you know, hey, as long as you have fun. That's really all I'm saying. I definitely didn't. I can't say that I will be missing those when I'm doing 100% Crusader Kings III. And now, the last two. What nepotism? Have your dynasty rule 10 independent realms of at least kingdom tier simultaneously? This, now that is a great achievement. I literally mentioned it earlier, 10 thrones. That is so much fun. I'm very excited for this one. I think there's so much anger that can be had, but righteous anger, because your dynasty will screw each other and they will screw up your plans all as a whole. I think that is fun. I think that is really nice to see. Very excited for what nepotism. I definitely want to do that also fairly early on, I think, into my CK3 playtime. Wily is the Fox, starting as Robert the Fox in 1066, rule the kingdom of Sicily, hold either the kingdom of Epirus, Hellas or Thessalonica, and convert all of its original counties to Catholicism. Why Epirus, Hellas or Thessalonica? That is because the Normans, under, you know, good Robert the Fox, tried to invade the Byzantine Empire under the guise of saying, hey, we're trying to bring in a claimant that has a rightful claim and should be the true emperor. But then they just were like, you know what if we just take these lands? They lost in the end, of course. The Byzantines kicked them out, but this is a nice one because it puts you in the shoes, yet again, of a historical character. I will say that I really enjoy the harder ones that are in here, you know, the 10 thrones, the Wily is the Fox. I also actually like the idea of the Africa one with the Lady of Daura. All of that stuff is pretty neat. There's a bunch of them, and I think that is the goal of these achievements. We have to acknowledge that. There's a bunch of them that are more suited for people that are new to the game. very good, in my opinion, primarily because it makes it so that they feel like playing Iron Man is okay. Playing Iron Man just makes it so they get achievements all the time. It feels nice. They get, you know, they do different things. They explore different playstyles, which is very important. I know a lot of people just play one playstyle at any given moment in their Crusader Kings career. I think this is pretty nice. I think this is a very neat collection of achievements that are primarily focused on getting new players to play out different playstyles in different regions and explore new opportunities. And then on top of that, you also have a couple of harder ones like the two of these. I really enjoy that. I think these are fine. I would be more upset if it was nonsense like, hey, in Crusader Kings 2, have you heard of the idea of playing the Mongols and conquering all of Europe? Isn't that fun? It was not fun. I was in pain and I was only doing it because I was doing it live on stream. I'm glad that those achievements are gone. Now, I think the hardest achievement out of this list is a perfect circle, primarily because it needs so much planning. But the rest, again, more focused on new players, and then, of course, throwing in some hard but not tedious achievements. Very nice stuff. I'm very excited for the later video that comes out today at 6 PM CEST, and then, of course, more action as we get closer to Crusader Kings 3 coming out. I hope you're excited. Tell me what you think about the artwork of the achievements, and tell me what you think about the achievements themselves, as well as, of course, how your day is going. Have a good day, and I'll see you later. Now, as always, I of course want to thank the members of the channel that are making videos such as this one possible. Namely the Baron, Stefan the Pelted, Achilles, Nauhauer, Tanner, Falling Phoenix, Jacob the Moselago, Dan, Florian, MFA, Mitchell, Aaron, Stefan, Snowwolf, Trangili, Valerius, Monster Furby, Jake, the Leopard, George, and Fonswift. Then, of course, also the Counts, Locken, Wombat, Shifty, Rex, Romanorum, Kazen, and Muschen, and last but not least, the absolutely beautiful Dukes. Eric, Kiriana, Goodfield, Nathan, Kenneth, Lexo, Larry, Soloing, Pixie, Thomas, and Nick. Thank you all so much. You are, as you can hear, taking my breath away, and I will see you later. Alligator.